Thank you to all of the candidates, and especially thank you to the residents in attendance here and those viewing online. Our elections, I think unfortunately, we have taken them too much for granted from the local, state, and federal levels, and it's time that we take this very, very seriously. Yes, I host Hudson Valley Focus Live, and every day when I do that show, this is on the console in front of me, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and our Bill of Rights. These are the navigation charts for our nation. When you look at some of the survey results, there was an email I got last week. It was a survey of high school students, and it was the questions that those taking the naturalization exam have to pass, and they have to only get a 60% on it to pass. Only 3% of our high school students could pass that naturalization exam.
Wow. That's scary.
We have to work together to make a better community, a better region, a better state, a better nation. We're going to have the opening statements here in a minute. Now, there's been the debate about we've got a lot of candidates, even at 2 minutes apiece. That's well over half an hour to make our way down the list. I would ask that you try to get it down to about a minute and a half. And I realize how very difficult that is. What I would like to do is for you to introduce yourself. You all have your numbers already. We're going to go right down that order. To make your opening statement, please identify yourself very clearly as far as your name, the office that you are running for, and your political affiliation, and then what else you would like us to know about who you are as a candidate. And what I think I'm going to do is change it up just a little bit in terms of, I think when we actually then get into going down the list with some of the questions that are submitted, I'll probably try to group it. I think it'll be a little more organized if I go to candidates, let's say for supervisor, highway department, legislature, and that way you'll have that instead of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And again, keep it very, on a very high level, very responsible, very professional. To those in the audience, please think about you're hiring people for what I would call an executive level position. What would you put down in terms of a job description to fulfill that position? And do these individuals have a resume to say that they can successfully fulfill that position? You're hiring people for a responsible position. With that, I think we'll get right into this, and will lucky number one please get up and introduce yourself.
Yeah, take that.
Should we pass the mic?
Yeah.
My name is Jennifer Adams. I'm running for town council. I am a longtime resident of the town. I'm a mom to 5. 4 have already been through the Arlington School District. 1 is still currently in high school. I'm now currently working for the Dutchess County in the finance unit. I am the former deputy town clerk, former deputy tax collector, secretary to the town board, and former secretary to the 2 former supervisors. I have a vested interest in the town and its residents and as a member of this community. My life and fiance's life have been dedicated to public service and volunteerism to the community and town between coaching for various sports and volunteering for numerous activities, boards, and committees. My fiance and I are also small business owners of the community and like to keep it that way.
Thank you. Number 2.
It's just going to be
Thank
easier.
you.
Who's number 3? Who's number 3?
No, I can't take it out.
You can do which one.
Does it come out?
Take it out. It does, but it's harder to...
I'm going to stand, sorry, it's really tight here. My name is Deirdre Houston. I'm running for county legislator. I currently am a county legislator here in Pleasant Valley. I serve the towns of Pleasant Valley, town of Washington, which includes the village of Millbrook, and the town of Amenia, which includes the hamlet of Wassaic. So you're probably wondering, what's going on in Pleasant Valley that in the past we've had 2 county legislators running, and now I'm seeing 4 here and 2 at the other end. Due to redistricting, coming up in January, we are running on new lines. And Pleasant Valley was split, instead of being in 2 legislative districts, you're now in 4. So that is why you will have 4 legislators, depending upon what election district you're in, which legislator you'll vote for. It's a little bit more confusing this year, but you guys will figure it out very easily. So with that being said, Pleasant Valley was well served having two legislators. It was Legislator Sagliano and myself, and I think we worked really well together and advocated for the residents of Pleasant Valley strongly. And I continue to hope to do that with whoever the legislators are for Pleasant Valley, although it will be four. A little about myself. I am a mom. I have two daughters. I have a husband I've been married to for over 30 years. Last month I became a grandma. I'm also a small business owner. I own a flower shop in the village of Millbrook. My husband is also a small business owner, so we completely understand the effect of community and economics on small business and your pocketbook. I work to keep taxes as low as possible, but not undermining infrastructure. Of course, infrastructure is a very important topic, and we hope to talk more about it here tonight. But that's a little about me, so thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for organizing, and I look forward to answering some questions.
Thank you. I will spend some time a little bit later on about the four districts with the legislature, and we'll talk about the geographic distribution of that. It's absolutely critical, very confusing.
Thank you.
Speaker number 3, please. Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary Meyer, and I'm running for Town Council. I appreciate the opportunity to be here alongside my Team Pleasant Valley candidates and all the other candidates that are here to answer questions important to the PV residents. Quickly, I'm a 1997 graduate of Marist College with my degree in Business Administration and Finance. I've worked in business management for 27 plus years, and I've been a PV resident for 25 years.
Thank you. Number 4.
Good evening. I applaud all of you for coming out. It's great to see so many people active. My name is Dean Michael. I'm on the Republican line. I'm running for the legislative district number 11, which is the northern part of Pleasant Valley, District 1, all of Clinton, and half of Rhinebeck, all but District 1 of Rhinebeck. So a little bit about me. I grew up here in Dutchess. I graduated from John Jay. I went to Dutchess, graduated from Dutchess, graduated from Marist, and got my MBA from Empire State. I'm a small business owner. I own an insurance office right down the street here in Pleasant Valley, so I'm very connected to Pleasant Valley. I've been on the town board in the town of Clinton for the last 16 years. I've served 4 of those years as the deputy supervisor, and I've also, for the last 12 years, served as the chairperson of our zoning revision. So I feel like with all my background and experience, I can definitely offer a lot, both to the town, whoever the candidates are, and to my counterparts in the county as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Number 5. John Baxter.
Good evening. My name is John Baxter. I'm the current highway superintendent for the town of Pleasant Valley, running for re-election. Let's give you a little bit about me. I've been married to my beautiful wife for 12 years. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight. I have 3 stepsons, 2 grandchildren. I've lived in the town of Pleasant Valley for a little over 15 years now. I've been a member of the Pleasant Valley Fire Department for just over 10 years, where I'm also an engine captain. Myself and my family has always served the towns. Both my parents served the village of Millbrook for almost 50 years in one form or another. My mom was the village clerk for almost 30 years. I love doing what I do. I love the job I do. I love serving my town. I enjoy working with the men and women that I work with, both at my shop and the public. I even love the complaints, because it's funny, because you know what, the complaints tell you what you're doing wrong and where you need to improve and what you're missing, so the complaints are great. So please, don't hesitate to call my office anytime. So on top of my 10 employees, and I have several part-timers that I also have to manage, and I also manage the transfer station. I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more of that tonight, so thank you.
Thank you. Number 7. No, Frank, excuse me, number 6.
I need a microphone now.
Oh, sorry.
Give me a second. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Frank Mazzella. I am running for County Legislator District 2, which is a very small portion of the town of Pleasant Valley, which I'm sure Tom said he'll get into later. I'm currently a town board member. I've been a resident for the past 10 years with my wife and our son, who I think are entering the room any minute here. I'm also an honorary member of both Station 1 and 2 in Pleasant Valley. I've been your voice for recreation in this town, and I honestly want to keep advocating for better youth programs for our kids.
Thank you. Number 7.
My name's Brian Aldridge, running for Highway Superintendent. I've lived in Pleasant Valley now for about 27 years, married, had 2 daughters. My oldest daughter just recently got married. They're both Arlington grads. I also coached at Arlington for about 25 years, coaching football. Some of you may know me from there. I've got 30 years experience doing highway work with New York State DOT, currently with Town LaGrange Highway Department. And I just want to do the best job possible for everybody out there. The same standards we have in LaGrange, that's what I'm going to try and bring here.
Thank you. Number 8.
Hi, good evening. I'm Brennan Carney, seeking re-election to my 3rd term in the Dutchess County Legislature. I'm married, I'm a mother, and I've been representing Rhinebeck and Clinton for 4+ years in the county legislature, and have now added the northeast corner of Pleasant Valley to my district. I hope that if you do know me, you know me as a strong voice in the Democratic minority of the county legislature. I'm one of 8 Democrats among 25 total legislators, and I speak strongly for those whose voices are frequently unheard by the Republican administration of the county. And I also publish the Dutchess Voice, which is an online newsletter bringing information on Democratic efforts at the county level to residents of the county. I have proposed gun safety signage, free high school tuition at Dutchess Community College, a sales tax cut for Dutchess County residents, expanded mental health services, and a reduction in the county property tax rate, and free bus fare. I hope to continue my advocacy for government transparency in Dutchess County, and to respond to the needs of those who are having a hard time in the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 9, Mayor.
Good evening. Is that okay? Good evening. I'm Mary Albrecht and running for supervisor. I'm married and have 2 boys, one of which is married and just had a baby. Our daughter-in-law is a blessing to me. We have a small farm, raise sheep, and have mini donkeys and chickens. I've lived in Pleasant Valley for the majority of my life. I have helped the town navigate the COVID pandemic, save taxpayers over $90,000 in attorney's fees, sit on the Climate Smart, Green Fair, and Festival of Lights committees, save taxpayers over $10,000 on the SPCA contract, rewrote the new procurement policy, wrote the new parade rules. I am liaison to the board for the Recreation Committee, sit on the Finance Committee, which lowered taxes for 2023, worked with employees of the town to help modernize local government to better serve residents, working on updating the phone system to ease residents' calling issues, worked to bring credit card options to the town offices, and worked with our highway super to have new diesel and gas containers installed. I understand there is no job too big or too small to be part of to make things better for all. Along with the Recreation Director, Sandra Coe, I have helped start a junior government program for middle and high school aged young people who currently meet twice a month. Thank you for your time and consideration this evening.
Thank you. And let's see, there we go. Dan Deegan.
So just saying, maybe in the budget we go for wireless mics. Just throwing that out there. Dan Deegan, running for town board. Lived here for 18 years. Married, 3 children. They're all in the schools. It's funny, I was coming down the stairs tonight before this, and my daughter looked at me with this, like she had just seen Bigfoot. She asked me if the suit was rented. Because, the last time I wore the suit was to meet the candidates 2 years ago, and I'm pretty sure I'm in a different weight class right now. So I'm running. I volunteer at the food bank. I'm a coach in town, and what really motivated me to run is I haven't lost hope in humanity. And in the last couple of years, it's been pretty ugly. And it was the experience at REC dealing with kids, but it was also the experience that I saw at the food bank of just seeing people just helping other human beings. You have all stripes at REC and also at the food bank, all stripes helping all stripes. And that really motivated me to say, okay, if we can do it there, why can't we do it everywhere else? I think we can. There's a kindness here in Pleasant Valley that exists, and you see it every day. We got to pay more attention to it. Personally, so I've been a leader my whole life through sports. I wrestled and played football. I wrestled through college. I was a 3-year captain at Boston College, leading to this seat now. I mean, it's when you're a leader, you get involved. And work-wise, I've been in sales, business development, project management my whole life for the last 25 years, and there's a theme that I've always done. It's fixing things that are broken, it's turning companies around that weren't working, it's building teams, it's rebuilding, and if that doesn't sound like government, I don't know what does. And I think the skills that I've learned there will apply here. I think the key here is remembering that all these topics we're going to talk about, it's human beings behind the topic and the phrase, and we forget that. But if we can focus on that, Pleasant Valley, the sky's the limit. Pleasant Valley is a nice town. Pleasant Valley can be even better. Thanks.
Thank you. Number 11, Kayla Ross.
Hi, my name is, can you guys hear me? Hi, my name is Kayla Ross. I am running for town clerk. I have been a resident of Pleasant Valley now for about 4 years. I married into a well-known family in Pleasant Valley. Obviously, my husband went to Arlington along with his sisters and his parents, so they've been around Pleasant Valley their whole lives. We just had a little baby boy a little over a year ago. He just turned 1 the 25th of September, so he just had shots today. So it's been a crazy day, to say it nicely. Been in the medical field now for about 10 plus years. So I went to Spackenkill, got my EMT and associate's degree and my phlebotomy all at Dutchess Community College. So medical field's kind of like my background, but wanted to try something new. Also because of having a baby and wanted to have more kids in the future, wanted to hopefully bring for young kids and young families some fun activities to the Pleasant Valley area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Number 12, John.
Got it.
Don't start it yet. Hi, I'm John Dunn. I'm a resident of Pleasant Valley for 45 years. I have been on the Zoning Board of Appeals for close to 30 years and have been the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals for close to 25 years. We have 2 daughters who attended Arlington High School and who currently teach in the Arlington district, one at the high school and one at the grade school level. I am on the Republican and conservative ticket. I'm a former veteran, New York Army Reserve National Guard, and I swore to my wife that I would not get into politics, and I'm sorry, but I had to do it, okay? Because seeing the way what is needed in this town has inspired me to go this route. The problems I foresee in this town are, first of all, the town hall. Secondly, the fact that we need water. We need potable water in the center of this village. And very frankly, we are starting to have some crime problems, and I think we need to ask the sheriff for an additional deputy rather than having our own constabulary versus the cost of having our own constabulary. So consequently, I've got my MBA. I think that I can, I know this town well enough. I've been here 45 years, and I think I can do a good job for the people of this town, because what we have to do is we have to be transparent. We have to communicate what we're doing to the people, and basically that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Number 13, Ola.
Hi, my name is Ola Neshua Hawatma, born and raised in the Hudson Valley. Went to Roosevelt High School, graduated from Marist College, proud mother. My son graduated ROTC. I am a freedom fighter, business owner, and also the liaison for Moms for America. in New York State, encouraging other moms to join the school board. I have served my country, helping others my entire adult life. I ran for comptroller last year. I lost by 0.5%. I ran against an incumbent, and I was asked to run. I wasn't interested, but I am interested in making a difference. I've always been a leader, and I've always served. I love my America, I love my country, and being a resident in Pleasant Valley and helping, working with others. My parents live here as well, and I take care of them. And it's been wonderful. I want to do so much, and I feel like Pleasant Valley needs to be run like a business. You look at your track record, and you look at my children, and look at myself, and look at my background. That speaks for itself. It needs to be run, Pleasant Valley, like a business, with heart, with transparency. No question marks. Thanks.
Thank you. Number 14, Erica.
Good evening.
Sorry, my fault.
Good evening, everyone. For all of you who do not know me, my name is Mary Beth Muir, and I am your town clerk and your tax collector. I am here before you today seeking re-election with 12 and a half years experience in the town clerk's office. First as your deputy town clerk and your deputy tax collector, and being elected to the seat in 2018 as your town clerk and tax collector. I've been married to my husband Larry for 28 years. We have 3 children. Larry is a retired plumber, plumbers and steam fitters, local 21, 47 years. Our son is also in the plumbers union, over 10 years, our son Michael. Our daughter Catherine is in the US Air Force. She is a staff sergeant and has been in for 9 years, proudly serving her country. Our daughter Kellyanne is studying the environment. She is going to New Paltz College and getting her degree in environmental science. You know, they say, if you love your job, you will never work a day in your life. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Every day I get to do something I love and hopefully do an impact on the residents' lives in this community. I have always said the town clerk's office is the heart of the town. We are the first office that people see when they come in, and we are the last office they see when they leave. And my staff and I enjoy the diversity of all of it. Over the years, I've been allowed to take the initiative to get things accomplished and bring more community-oriented, outside-the-box events to the town, such as rabies and flu clinics, Christmas helping tree, citizens preparedness training, hometown hero banners, nationally turning our town into a nationally recognized Purple Heart town this Saturday, and writing proclamations and dedications to honor our residents in this community. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to believe in the work that you do. Always work hard and enjoy what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 15.
Good evening, everyone. You gotta give me a second. Good evening, everyone. Ryan Travelpiece. I'm running for Dutchess County's 2nd Legislative District. Got you again, didn't I? Which is the northern part of LaGrange, part of Poughkeepsie, and part of Pleasant Valley. This is what legislative government's all about. We're here, we're together, we're bipartisan, we are talking about what is best for the people. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, I have 3 children. My wife and I are raising them in LaGrange, which is part of this great district. We'll get that later. That is why I have a vested interest in the success and prosperity of all these communities, and they're varied. I think Deirdre touched on the fact that they read through the districts. I think it's a benefit. You have 4 legislators that are going to be vying for fairness and equity in your community. So I think that's great for you. So a little bit about me. 18 years of my career was in financial services, still is in financial services. And part of that is reviewing financial statements, making sure we are fiscally responsible in lending money. That's a large part of what I do, is lending. So, and that's also what the legislature does for those that aren't familiar, budgeting and appropriations. Where can we spend the money that's most effective? These are the resources we have. They're precious, but we want to put them to good work. Okay, so that's 18 years there. I do donate my time as well when I'm not at the baseball field, dance, taekwondo, soccer, the list goes on. I might have missed one. I have 30 seconds. So if I'm elected, I'm going to be bipartisan. I'm going to serve what the legislature's mission is, which is the health, safety, and overall quality of life for every Dutchess County resident. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 16.
It's easy. This is easy.
Right here at the end, and actually as I drew the number, it was the last one, it was number 16. I said, I'm 16. And he goes, you look more like 19. And I said, I get that everywhere. My name is Will Truitt. I'm a county legislator. I have been for the last 8 years. I live in the town of Hyde Park. I'm proud to represent Hyde Park, my hometown, and the town of Poughkeepsie currently, but with the redistricting, what has happened? I lost the town of Poughkeepsie and I've gained the town of Pleasant Valley. I'm no stranger to Pleasant Valley. I ran for higher office 5 years ago for the New York State Assembly. I went to hundreds and hundreds of doors across Pleasant Valley to meet the people and meet the voters. And we won here with almost 55% of the vote. I am proud to be a young elected official because we need younger people to hold elected office, because it is our generation that will be inheriting the future of this country and of our local municipalities. I'm proud to be a voice that stands for conservative principles. I'm running on the Conservative and Republican Party lines. We cut taxes, we invest in our law enforcement, and the number one issue, I'm sure questions will come up on this, the number one issue that I want to make sure we tackle in this next term is the drug epidemic that we face. We have a drug task force here in Dutchess County that has been vastly successful. We need to go after those that are drug dealers, and they need to be locked up. We need to go after them, make sure that the drugs are off the streets because they're killing our kids. So whatever I can do as county legislator over these next 2 years, I hope that I can benefit our community, our taxpayers, and our children. Thank you all. God bless.
Thank you. I think that accounts for everyone down the list. I think what I'd like to do is start with the town supervisor's position. Then we have the two candidates, Ola Huana and Mary Albrecht. I'm going to just throw that out there. Mary, I'm going to start with you in terms of the responsibilities of that position. And then Ola, I'll go to you on that position also. And please try to keep it down to just like 1 minute or so.
Well, the supervisor position is mainly a fiscal one as well as a managerial one. They are completely fiscally responsible for everything that goes on in the town, what's being paid, what's not being paid, who gets what, who doesn't, and doing the budget. They're in charge of doing the budget with the bookkeeper. So that's a very big part of the supervisory position. The other part is the day-to-day management, okay? One of the things that I think is very important with supervisory position is to communicate with the board so that they're all up to date on what's going on in the town also.
Supervisor position, can you hear me?
You're right.
I feel it's beyond just fiscal responsibility and communicating with the town. It's the CEO of the town. It's basically taking on not only the budget, but being transparent with your board and with the residents. What are the needs? Being available 24 hours, 7 days a week for the people. So I do have a background as a business owner with budgets, fiscal responsibility, accountability, and working with others. And I feel that Pleasant Valley, definitely, we do need some transparency and issues that need to be resolved, and we need a leader.
Thank you. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, we've got a number of town board candidates here. I am going to come back to, not going to do it right this minute, but I would be thinking about, so I want to come back to the issue of water. It's certainly a couple people in the audience here who have been talking about water for as many years as I can remember. At some point, we're going to have to come to grips with that. The town highway supervisor's position. John, you are currently in that position as the incumbent. And let me have you speak to the current condition of the maintenance and equipment, that we have, and then I will then come to you, Brian, also to speak about your thoughts about that. This is one of the most important things, keeping the roads clear, very difficult. John Baxter?
Thank you. As far as the equipment goes, we actually look pretty good for equipment. I'm trying to keep up on the current highway superintendent had a 10-year replacement plan in place for most of our heavy trucks. It's not always easy to keep to that plan, basically because your average truck that you could buy for, let's say, $200,000 3 years ago is now $400,000. So that 10-year replacement plan is a little shot right now. With that being said, we keep up on our maintenance. We do, I'm gonna say 85% of our maintenance in shop. We send out all of our heavy stuff because we're just not equipped. I don't have the heavy diesel mechanic. But we do everything that we can fix in the shop, we do. As far as the roads are concerned, keeping up on road maintenance, we try to keep as far ahead as possible as we can. And to, again, quote another highway superintendent, he told me in this job, you can account for about 20% of your job, and the rest of it belongs to Mother Nature and Murphy's Law. And I've found that to be correct. If anybody hasn't noticed, the only almost 30 inches of rain we've had in the last 9 weeks.
Yes.
And that tends to slow everything down. So, but that is the top priority, keeping our roads clean, keeping our roads clear, especially in the wintertime, keeping up the maintenance, and trying to chase those forever popping up potholes and trying to keep those filled, and trying to keep our community safe for their travels.
Thank you. Brian Aldridge.
Coming from LaGrange, obviously it's a bigger operation than Pleasant Valley, but the same principles are the same as far as make sure your equipment's maintained in proper condition, making sure when the winter season's coming, you've got a backup plan in case one of your trucks goes down in the middle of a storm. You will sometimes have the unexpected where you have a driver, who may be out for some reason. You've got to be prepared for the unexpected. If not, the residents are going to be the ones complaining because they're going to wonder why you haven't been there, why you can't do this, why you can't do that. You've got to prepare for it. As far as the road maintenance goes, street sweeping, potholes, drainage, all that is important. It needs to be done on a yearly basis. It needs to be inspected. When it comes to, if you're going to blacktop, you got to make sure the infrastructure of the road between drains, pipes, and everything else is good to go. Why put down a whole bunch of blacktop and then you have to come back 6 months later and rip the whole road open to get drainage, the pipes, and the trunk lines back in?
Thank you. The big question that is on here that were submitted, and certainly in this economy, I saw a study the other day that half of the young adults are back home with their parents. How do candidates feel about allowing the zoning for accessory dwellings, giving Pleasant Valley residents access to the ADU grants, allow more affordable housing, etc.? Let me think. This is something that would have to involve certainly the town board. So those candidates for the Pleasant Valley Town Board, can you just briefly give your thoughts about, and also the supervisor position, would you briefly give your thoughts about this accessory unit, the pros and cons of should we be looking at? Frank, can I start with you and go right? County legislature. Okay. Mary.
Sorry.
Wait.
Mary or Mary? It's Mary.
Oh, that's right. We got two Marys out there. Okay.
And Mary Beth.
Okay. Mary Meyer.
Mary Meyer. Could you repeat the question, please?
Talking about the accessory units, in other words, to change perhaps zoning that would allow the construction of a auxiliary unit to allow whether it be elderly residents to live with family.
Boy, that's a complicated question. Well, I think our comprehensive plan is dated and needs to be redone. So there's a lot of things that happened when that plan was set in place. So rezoning areas, I guess it would have to come down to where those lands are. Like where are we going to rezone them and why? But I think looking at our town in the future requires looking at what the comprehensive plan was in the past. So I think before we can do any rezoning of any land in Pleasant Valley, if that were to happen, we'd have to redo our comprehensive plan.
I guess I would ask, let me simplify the question.
Okay,
Everyone's going to
okay.
answer this.
Okay.
Your overall thought about making it a priority to look at the, changing it for the availability of accessory units.
I would be for that, because I know Pleasant Valley has very, very few units available in the first place.
Right.
So yes, I would be for that.
Okay, good. Dan Deegan, you're right there. The microphone's right there. We'll go right to you next.
This is a great question. I'm glad you asked it. So as far as housing stock, when you talk about vacant apartments or housing, I believe the healthy stat is 5%. That's considered healthy stock for both tenant and landlord. Pleasant Valley is 0.8%. It's a problem. It's a problem. I've knocked a ton of doors. The last election, this election, I've met a lot of people, and it's actually changed. I started doing this in 18, and now, so over that time period, you're seeing a ton of, it's not just kids, these are young 20-year-olds that are in. And then you see the grandparents. You're seeing 3 generations in a household. If we don't acknowledge this, like, there's something going on here. I think there's a major issue with supply. We're seeing supply and demand. I have a very close friend who I was involved with in recreation and other things. His rent just went up 27%. He was fighting as hard as he could to stay in Pleasant Valley. He wanted to stay here. He loves the town. He's involved. He's everything you want in a person in the community. He had to leave. That stinks. And if it doesn't come to your doorstep now, it's going to come later. It's not fair. We're having to, our seniors having to move in because they can't find places to afford. And we all talk about our kids and our teenagers, and we want to go off to college. There's nowhere for them to come. There's nowhere for them to stay. They have to move back in with mom and dad, and we're looking at it and we realize it. So 100% I'd be for it. And it has to be, there's all kinds of checks and balances. This is a Venn diagram on steroids, right? Because you want to protect the environment. You have the town that's involved with it. There's the cost, there's all that. But yeah, it's absolutely looking at.
Okay, Jennifer Adams.
Stuck in the, do you want me to go?
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, as a mother whose son who has just retired from the military and has moved in with his fiance's parents, I absolutely agree that we do need to take our zoning codes and dust them off and revisit all of the zoning. I definitely think that it's something that should be visited. We absolutely need more help in our building and zoning department. As a town who does not have a lot of duplexes and multiple family housing, it is definitely that something should be visited and get more help in our departments to look at these zoning codes and building codes to see if this is a feasible option for our town.
Okay, thank you. John Dunn.
Okay, okay, all right. Very interesting, and this should come up because I was in the zoning office today discussing with the building inspector a specific piece of property that we're looking, the owner or prospective owner wants to put an accessory apartment in. I know that this is a problem. I see it happening in different areas. I can always harken back to my daughters. They didn't have this problem. They graduated college, they got a job, and they have their own places, and that's fine and dandy. What I would look at is we do not want, it's marvelous to say, oh, let's have our desires and try to attain our desires. That's great. But there are so many things in this town that need doing that we don't want to make this town a bunch of little apartments and little motels. I can understand the need for apartments, but I think it has to be done selectively. And we are, in one way or another, approaching that with the zoning department now. And that's about it, thank you. Also, as long as I'm here, I'll put in a pitch to the fact that we really do need a full-time zoning and building inspector if we're going to be able to get anything that we want. They are so overloaded right now that they need more help. Thank you.
Okay, Oklahoma, same question, and then back to you, Mary Ellen.
Thank you. Well, in Pleasant Valley, I mean, we don't want to lose that rural character feel. I am also a real estate investor, and I have homes throughout the country, but I take care of my parents, and I will not put them in a nursing home. They are in Pleasant Valley, and we will probably die in Pleasant Valley. With that said, I am huge about zoning laws, and how is it going to affect everyone else? I mean, when I started with this campaign, I take a lot of personal, a lot of false accusation. And when you're in politics, it's just the way it is. Muslim, no, I'm Catholic. Not born here, no, born and raised in New York. I don't take anything personal. If I was to be elected as your next supervisor, it's about the taxpayers. How is it going to affect everyone else? So I'm for zoning and for how is it going to affect our taxes? How is it going to affect everyone else? Thank you.
Mary Albrecht?
As Mary Meyer started to talk about, our comprehensive plan is outdated and it needs to be revised. I would suggest getting a codification committee together to move this plan forward into the, for like about the next 10 years. There must be input from the residents on this though. This is an opportunity for us to develop a vision for Pleasant Valley, to be able to have the zoning changed, and we need everybody's input on this. And it's complicated, but this is necessary with many stakeholders, all of whom will be heard. We absolutely need an affordable community for people to choose to live here. And right now, that's not happening.
Thank you. I'm going to come back now and speak to the candidates here for the county legislature. The issue about crime came up. It is a very serious and very growing problem. The problem with the opioid addiction, gang activity happening, we do really have, people don't want to believe it, we really do have human trafficking, sex trafficking right here in Dutchess County. I work very closely with law enforcement, mental health folks on almost a daily basis, and there are still people who do not believe it. From the county legislature's position, and I think we'll reverse the order. I'm going to come back to you, and we're going to work our way my left to the right, because this is one of the most serious issues that we face in terms of legislators here at both the town and the county level standing up and speaking to the people in Albany who are supposed to be our representatives, many of whom are totally unresponsive to the words coming out of the citizens. And this is something, so Will Truitt.
So I come at this from a unique perspective. My father actually, he's been a lifelong member of law enforcement, police canine handler. I wear my dog who passed away's badge around my heart. So doing everything that we can to invest in law enforcement, make sure that they have the tools needed to do their jobs. Because what we see far too often now in New York State is that instead of handcuffing those that are committing the crimes, we're handcuffing those that are enforcing the laws and protecting our communities. One thing I did as a legislator, representing my town in Hyde Park, was I brought back $90,000 of funding to reestablish the canine program in Hyde Park. It's a drug dog, so that we can have that assistance there. So if anything like that arises within the town of Hyde Park, I will always invest in law enforcement. One thing that recently came up, obviously, we had this migrant crisis that we saw. None of these people are vetted. We don't know anything about these individuals that are coming. And even our Democratic governor and Democratic mayor down in New York City are saying that enough is enough and we cannot handle them anymore. They're trying to ship them up to Dutchess County. But we stood up and we said, we're not going to house these immigrants here. They might be good people, God bless them, but they came into our country illegally, and we need to protect our communities first and foremost. There are so many people in need that are American citizens here in Dutchess County that need our help first. So I'm always going to stand on the side of American citizens.
Ryan Travelbees.
Thank you. We're going to be going at it all night, you and I. So, hugely important question. I'm glad you brought it up. I've had friends that have been affected by opioid use, and it's terrible to see it happen. So, what do we do about it? So, there are two committees within Dutchess County that I think could touch on, in Dutchess County Legislature, that could touch on this. One is the public safety. Public safety looks for allocating funds for our law enforcement. So recently there was an incident in Pleasant Valley, a large event that took place here, and they realized that there was a void in the communications for Pleasant Valley when it comes to law enforcement. So in realizing that, the county stepped in and said, we're gonna make a large investment, we're gonna upgrade the telecommunication system throughout the entire county. They are now interconnected with multiple counties, and you have a state-of-the-art system. Not every county can say that, and surrounding counties don't have the same thing. So they're constantly looking for ways to assist our law enforcement. I think another large challenge is that, unfortunately for our law enforcement, there's a negative connotation across the country for law enforcement officers. They are having a very difficult time finding the personnel to staff the open positions. There used to be a long waiting list, and now it's please come and apply. What they're doing is they're getting out there in the public, raising awareness, saying, come serve your community, right? We're all here trying to serve the community in this capacity. There's other capacities that our young people can serve the community.
Thanks, Ryan.
That's
Deidre Houston?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. So as a county legislator, it has been on the forefront of our topics within the Dutchess County Legislature, and certainly we have partner agencies that we work with. We work with Mental Health America, we work with Vet to Vet, we work with other organizations that are on the front lines of the crime epidemic. However, the most important tool we have is our sheriff's office. That is the most important tool we have on the streets right now, and it's about improving the response time. Although Pleasant Valley is in a small enclave, but getting here quickly, and that speaks to the communication center that we've just invested a lot of money in. Body cams, we as a county invested in every opportunity for every municipality to get body cams. We are paying for the first 5 years for data storage for any municipality that wanted it. I know Pleasant Valley doesn't have their own police force, but for other municipalities that do, it was an opportunity for them to upgrade. But now all of our sheriffs are also wearing body cams, which does help with law enforcement response. With the drug epidemic, it is most important. It's in our communities. We've all been affected by it. We've offered Narcan training throughout the county, and it's about having mental health workers on the streets with our police, being involved in the day-to-day, finding people at risk and working with them early on before they overdose, getting them the help and support services they need. We're all people, we all know people have been affected by this, so I think it's really important that we continue talking about it and having the conversation.
Thank you. Dean Michael.
So one of the biggest responsibilities any elected official has is the safety of its residents. And so the responsibility of not only supporting law enforcement to do their job, we need to have laws that take away the bad people from the public and not putting them back on the street. Bail reform, the discovery law are all factors in why we see so many people going back and reiterate the same issues over and over and over again. So if we want to catch the drug dealers and we want to put them away so that they're not constantly coming back out into the street, we need to have laws that locks them up and puts them away so that we as the public feel safe. All the other crime kind of trickles down from that. So whether it be, it starts out with drugs and someone's breaking into your house to steal the money so that they buy the drugs and so on and so forth. So the biggest thing I think is that we need to change the bail reform laws, open up our discovery laws so it gives the opportunity for our DA and the police to actually do their job and put away the bad people.
Thank you. Frank Mazzella.
Sorry. Give me a second. So I might end up echoing a little bit what you heard on the other end of the table. We do need to reallocate and allocate more money for better mental health services, more money for our sheriffs. It's an interesting thing to think about, but we do need safer streets for our kids. Like we do need to stop the opioid epidemic. We do need to do these things, and we can't do it without better funding for the Sheriff's Department and better mental health funding.
Brendan, Kenny?
All right, thank you. So I made a couple notes here as I listened to everyone. I too come from a family of law enforcement. My husband spent his career as a police officer, and we often talk about the challenges we're talking about here tonight. I believe that youth services and investment in preventative programs are a key to stemming the use of drugs and the key to decreasing crime in Dutchess County. I also support improving our mental health services, which I believe we're still sadly lacking in enough. I've supported requests for funding from the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, and I agree with many of what my other fellow legislative candidates have said. However, I can't disagree more strongly with Legislator Truitt. Drumming up fear of asylum seekers is a cheap trick to distract us from the reality that much of the drug use and crime we are concerned with are coming from our own citizens in Dutchess County. And Dean Michael's comments regarding bail reform are also misleading. When study after study, as we have introduced bail reform, shows that bail reform is not increasing crime in Dutchess County. Our residents need services early on in their lives and throughout their lives to redirect their life journeys. And they need support when they get off track. Thank you.
I'm going to come back to you for 1 second because you just said something that the raise the age limit for prosecution of serious crimes. Your thoughts about that? Now, there was just an incident this week in the city of Poughkeepsie, a 15-year-old arrested with an illegal firearm, back out on the street with an appearance ticket, and arrested again a day or two later with 2 illegal firearms. Does that raise the age law need to be looked at and revised?
That's an interesting question, and it's not one that will come before us at the county legislative level.
Let me say this to everyone at the county legislature. To use that office as a podium to represent the citizens here, not just in the legislature, but with legislators in Albany and in Washington. Keep that in mind.
Yes, and I frequently am known for doing that. So, but I did want to point out that that's not something that we'll be taking up. I think it's a complicated issue. Not to dodge the question, because I'm all for speaking my mind. I have a hard time. I have a hard time deciding how to deal with those very young offenders. And I think that some of it is very needed on a case-by-case basis. I think that children who commit crimes or young people who commit crimes need us to do an extra strong job of looking at the circumstances behind them before making a decision about how to adjudicate those.
I want to come back to the 2 town supervisors on that question, and I'll tell you why. Because you have an opportunity to interact with legislators, and I firmly believe that you say, okay, well, making those laws are not within the purview of that position, and yet you have the podium to speak on behalf of residents of the town of Pleasant Valley. Mary Albrecht, your thoughts on this issue of juvenile crime, which is becoming a growing problem, and to work with legislators at both the state and the federal level to really take a serious look at it. Please, short answer.
It's above my head.
Okay.
I haven't really dove into this very much at all.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna try to,
That's fair enough.
let anybody know any different.
Let me phrase it to you differently.
Yeah,
Within that position as supervisor, to recognize that the safety and security of the residents, are perhaps being threatened in this regard, would you consider it on the table, though, to educate yourself about that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Paula?
As a mother of 3 boys, scholarships, full scholarships, Georgetown, I would say I'm a very strict mother. With that said, absolutely, It starts with the house, and the problem I feel, the first company I started was Mommy Makeover, and it doesn't start with the kids, it starts with the parents. And if a 15-year-old is out there shooting and there's no accountability, there has to be accountability, there has to be more done. It's a simple question, yes or no. Yes, there has to be consequences, and that's the issue that we have as leaders, turning the other cheek and not thinking it's a big deal. But it is a big deal because others are being influenced. I don't want my kids being influenced by that. My youngest will turn 19 soon, and I'm sorry, even as his mother, if he was to do wrong, yes, there has to be accountability.
Dan Deegan.
Hello, okay. So on the law enforcement element, so when you say you're pro law enforcement, I think it's important to flesh that out because I think we oversimplify this a little bit too much. Law enforcement is being asked to do way too much nowadays. This is a long story that law enforcement will say that themselves. We're asking police officers to be therapists, we're asking them to be counselors, we're asking them to be substance abuse. So if we really want to support them, we need to fund those programs as well and alternatives to having to call 911 and a police officer goes out for all these societal ills that we have. That said, where this comes local, so I got a call a couple weeks ago where somebody said they wanted to take their child to Katy and they couldn't go there because there were people shooting up. So I happened to be out knocking doors that day and I shot over there. I didn't see any of that. But what I did see is a place that looked really good to shoot up in. There's nothing there. So when you don't invest in your community, there was nobody, honestly, there was nobody there. And how you can fix this is if you filled that with a new basketball court and you had other things and you had upstanding members of the community, parents, kids, teenagers, men's, adults leagues there, they can almost police. I'm not saying they're going to alternate or substitute all the things you brought up. Those are real issues. But definitely it would make those things go away from public places. And I think this has happened in other areas where there have been needles found. So just because I didn't see them that day, that doesn't mean anything. But it also looked like a park that was in disarray that needs some support.
I know it's already 6 minutes after 6. We're only going till 7 o'clock this evening. We could, real quick, real quick.
Real quick rebuttal, just
Real quick.
Very, very quick.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd just like to make it real clear that we all agree, and I agree with Legislator Carney, that investing in our youth is the most important way and best preventative measure that we can do to make sure that our kids aren't out there committing crime. That's why we supported the Learn, Play, Create grant programs. I'm sure everybody in the room heard about it, where we invested $20,000 to $50,000 in all these local Little League organizations, art clubs and whatnot, all across the county. We made sure that they had funding during the period where we faced COVID so that we can invest in our children, make sure that they have activities to keep them off the streets. But to that question, I mean, it was only last week that we had a kid at FDR High School make a bomb threat via Snapchat. We need to hold everyone accountable. Anybody that's threatening crimes or committing crimes, if they're 14, 15 years old and doing that, they should know better, and they shouldn't be doing that. So we need to make sure that we are stern on all of this. So I'm always on the side of making sure that people are punished for the crimes and the actions that they commit. Thank you.
Let's go to the question about water for Pleasant Valley, and I want to let's go with the candidates for the town board, because you are individuals who would be working on making those decisions. I'm going to kind of reverse the order here. I think John Dunn, on one of the other issues, you were sort of one of the last to speak. Your thoughts about water?
Okay, yeah. I'm a big fan of water, actually. Yeah, well, you know, we have a water line coming from Poughkeepsie up to Bower Road on the border of Pleasant Valley. Now, the idea of, it's been said that, well, we should have our own water supply. Our own water supply is going to give us a lot of additional problems, i.e., paying a number of people there, having the machinery, if something goes wrong, having a problem there. If you get water from the town of Poughkeepsie, then if there's a water problem, hey, it's Poughkeepsie's problem. And there's been talk also about the cost of it. You know, the bulk of the water coming into Pleasant Valley, and by the way, for those of you who may not know, basically Pleasant Valley Village proper has non-potable water. But the cost of the water coming in would be borne substantially by Con Ed and Transco, with their, with all the land that they have there. Excuse me. And people have been talking about, oh, you know, it'd be impossible. If you want to tap into the water, yes, you're going to have to pay, but it will be there for you if you want it. And in traveling, knocking on doors, I've had a number of people say, you know, he has good water, I don't have good water. Why? How can we get good water here? Well, it's very simply, we can start to seriously look at bringing central water in, and we can do it from Poughkeepsie rather than reinventing the wheel here in Pleasant Valley. Because, you know,
Thanks, John. Let's leave it right there a second.
Yeah.
And so we go on. Let me come to Jennifer Adams.
Good? Okay, folks, we've been talking about this for over 6 years.
It's a lot longer than that.
Well,
20 plus?
heavy duty 6 years it's been going on. As a former resident of Valleydale who actually has water, and the bills were astronomical. I know there's other residents in here who used to live in Valleydale. Dealing with Dutchess County Waste and Water, the bills were unaffordable, and hence why I do not live there anymore. However, water is going to come with a price. Am I for it? Absolutely, and I will make a commitment to get it done. We can tap in through Poughkeepsie and the surrounding towns and have it and make it happen. But it's going to come with a price, and the residents are going to need to realize that. Everybody wants clean water. We all know that. I myself drink bottled water right now because our water is not healthy enough. We need to realize that it's going to come with a price, but it can be done.
Okay. Mary Meyer?
This is such a great question. I've been to many town board meetings, nearly all of them, I have to say, over the last few years. And there have been lots of plans for water, down Route 44. We have towns nearby that nobody has ever mentioned anything about drilling our own wells. LaGrange has 7 wells for their town, with several water districts. I've been doing a lot of reading lately. There's been no mention of that possibility, which I would be, I think, as my counterparts have said, it's going to cost money. And it's going to come down to the residents of who wants it. Like who, even if we bring it to the town center, are the businesses, homeowners, are they going to want that expense? There may be people that don't want it, but if they live in a water district, they're going to have to pay their taxes. So I think even before we actually even continue down that road, there has to be some conversations with our town residents. Who wants it? Where is it going to be? Is it going to be just the town center? There were plans for it to go up West Road and up North Avenue and in the town center, skipping certain residents. But I think it is going to come with a price tag, and it's going to come down to what residents think of who wants it, who doesn't want it, where's it going to go? Are we going to drill our own wells? Is it going to come from Poughkeepsie? I think there's work to be done, and I think I'm ready to move this forward. But it's going to have to go with more conversations, especially with town residents.
Dan Deegan next, and then I'll go to the 2 supervisor candidates. This is a big question for the Pleasant Valley for sure, Dan.
Yeah, this is the hot potato one. It's been going on forever. So I think one thing I've never seen a case made that persuaded people of the benefits for it. I think this is pretty much how it's been sold. Maybe it's because you've never had anybody in sales on the planning board, but I think this is the conversation. Hey, Mrs. Jones, you want water? It's $600 a year on your taxes, yes or no? Why would she say yes? I'm pretty sure that's how it's gone down. We've never painted the picture of what that means for the town. And you have to invest sometimes to get these things. So one, businesses don't vote, right? It's all about that water district, because the people that would have to pay for this, they're perfectly fine with their well. But they might be willing to if you could say, yeah, but if we do this, we're going to get X, Y, and Z, and here's the benefit to your quality of life downtown. I haven't seen it, so I think the way you fix this is you get a committee of businesses to come in and say, here's what we could do if we had this water. Here's businesses that would come in. I've never actually seen anything that's tangible on this. It's a lot of hearsay and rumor. We got to get into the facts of how would we actually benefit? And yes, you're going to pay X more, but here are the benefits, and now you balance it. If you don't do that and you just ask people to spend more money when they already have a well, you'll never pass that. And I think we've never hit we've never crossed that precipice because we've never had that conversation.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm for it.
All of them, Mary Albright.
Well,
Please try to keep it brief. I want to try to keep it
Absolutely. Water is a major issue in Pleasant Valley, and with something like water, we can't answer vaguely. We can't. The residents deserve better. I've been working for 3 months with Poughkeepsie, and I also have experience with grant underwriters. Hopewell Junction, I believe $80 million they got in grants. How come we haven't asked for grants? A couple of members, and I don't care Democrat or Republican. When it comes to local, it's about the people. I have 3 registered Democrat friends that are here. So that doesn't matter. What matters is, how are we going to move forward with the water? Poughkeepsie, it's the cheapest in Dutchess County. The pipes, getting grant underwriters, I've been already talking and working with engineers, whether I win or lose. I've been already working on that. Sharing a tank, they already have a tank on 44. Sharing a tank, it'll cost $4 million. We split the cost, but grant underwriters can't come unless they have actual things from the engineers, which we've been working with. And people have been talking about lead. There's no lead. Poughkeepsie has just invested $4 million with UV and ozone treatment with their water. That's the best solution. So the first 30 days, if elected, the water project starts. No excuses.
Thank you. Mary Albright?
Okay, this is definitely a hot topic. And it's much more complicated than people understand. There's a lot of residents and a lot of stakeholders that have to be behind it. We need to, I understand we need to make it a priority. I really do. Not true that Con Ed and Transco are gonna pay for it, okay? There is nothing in writing anywhere. I've gone through everything. It's a very heavy burden on the people who are going to need it. We cannot just willy-nilly say, yeah, let's come from Bower Road. Okay, so you have how many roads coming off of Route 44 going off? And all of those people need to pay the tax on that because they'll be considered in the water district. This is a very heavy burden on a lot of people that I saw a study done that don't have the income to support that kind of money. Whether they hook up to it or not, by the way, they still, if they're in the water district, they still have to pay for this. They don't get a free ticket just because they don't take it from the road in. That's another problem for people. If you take it from the road and bring it into your house, you got to dig from the road into the house. You have to put all the equipment in the basement before you can even start using the water. There are other options, which I have been looking into with a couple of people, and there are some other options that we can do. And it may involve us having to dig a couple of wells. And it may involve us having to have it. But you know what? That's why you hire a company to run that sort of thing after it's all done. We don't take care of it ourselves. You can't do that with water. And we do have a couple of spots that we could put a water tank on in Pleasant Valley also. But to assume that we're going to come from Bower just because everybody says it can happen, the problem is that the people who are wanting the water are in the hamlet, not the people from there to the hamlet. So they don't want it. We need to do something in the hamlet in order to take care of this issue. And that's how I have been trying to focus myself, because this has already happened a couple times in our town. I'm sure everybody that's been here forever like me knows that it's gone through 2 votes already. And the only people that come to the meetings are the people that aren't actually going to get the water, but say, oh yeah, let's go and get the water, okay? And then they can't even vote for it because they're not in the water district. The people that are in the water district say, oh, no, time out. We have no idea how we're going to pay for this. So it is a very hot topic. There's a lot to do behind this. But I think it can be done, but we have a lot of people to talk to first.
Thank you very much. Let me come back to the issue of the town clerk. Kalen Roth, duties and responsibilities that the town clerk, what are the duties and responsibilities that the town clerk has?
Hello, so obviously, keeping everything in track with everything, keeping files of all marriage certificates, death certificates, the list goes on. Having a positive smile when you walk into the town clerk's office, having everything open so that way they could be introduced in a positive manner. And, getting, when you get files in, to FOIL and stuff like that, get everything done in a timely manner. You have so many days to do it, get the job done correctly and timely.
Okay, thank you. Mary Beth Miro.
Hi. Well, there's a lot the town clerk does that I think a lot of residents do not know. We do everyday tasks. We do dog, refuse, birth certificates, death certificates, marriage licenses. I am a notary. I do several notaries a month. We answer residents' questions every day. It can vary. We work closely with the town board and the supervisor. We are their go-between. We do agendas. We do minutes. We are fiscally responsible for several bank accounts. We take income in for the transfer station. We pay the bookkeeper every month. Our audits have been excellent in the town clerk's office. We also work very closely with the highway super. I am also, do not forget, I am a tax collector. So that also comes with a variety of duties. I am in charge of a $9 million warrant. I do not take that lightly, that job. You are responsible for a lot of money. We also are getting, starting January, you'll be able to pay your taxes online with a credit card. You'll be able to pay your dog license online with a credit card. We are now accepting credit cards into the town clerk's office. Our job is everything. We are literally in the middle of everyone. I am the record retention officer. I am in charge for all the files way back. I have files back from the 1800s that I am responsible for. I have a wonderful staff who I work very closely with. Debbie and Kathy are wonderful. They are with us every day. And I believe we do answer everyone's questions. We do answer FOILs in a timely manner. Also, we are there for everyone. We are that first office. When people walk in, they see us. They ask us everything. What's the doctor's name across the street? Do you know the restaurant down the road? I mean, we get asked everything. And we do it with a smile on our face.
Thank you. You mentioned transfer station, John Baxter, and Brian, I want to come back to you. On my notes, there was a question whether or not talk about closing the transfer station. John Baxter?
So, there is no plan to close the transfer station. If anybody's been watching the meetings as of late, the town board thankfully has just helped me approve the monies to go forward to install a new compactor. The whole thing's gonna cost us a little under $100,000, it'll be somewhere around $70,000 for all the work that needs to be done to install a new compactor. So I don't foresee the town or the town board spending that kind of taxpayers' money just to turn around and close it.
Is there ever any thought to adding a facility for where people could return waste motor oil?
So that's a whole nother problem with the DEC. You have to have a specialized facility in order to take waste motor oil and a way to get rid of it. So that's, it's not something that couldn't be done, but it's a whole nother step that you have to go through. You have to have a special containment unit, you have to have an overflow unit, you have to have a concrete structure that's built that can contain, God forbid if that unit happens to leak, it's got to be all self-contained and not be able to get into the watershed. And anybody who is maybe not familiar with where the highway department sits, our back left corner is only about 100 feet off of federally protected wetland. So we have to be very specific in what we did, which is why when we built the new fuel depot, we built it the way we did with ballistic resistant containers and anti-leak containers.
Thank you very much. Brian Aldrich, your thoughts about transfer station?
The transfer station in Pleasant Valley is a unique situation. It should be open. It's one of the few towns left that has their own transfer station. A lot of towns, including LaGrange, have gotten out of that business. It's something the residents deserve. It gives them an opportunity to come out, get rid of their stuff. As far as going with the waste oil, like John just said, there's a lot of logistical nightmares that come with it. In LaGrange, we have signs on our fences all around. We are not a waste oil facility. It's not something you want to get into. There's too many problems that come with it. The biggest one would be a DEC issue, especially if it got into the ground, unfortunately, and you had a leak. Groundwater, wells, aquifers, everything that runs under that would be affected. People would definitely be screaming when they saw their tap water having rainbows in them. It's not something you want to get into. The transfer station, though, is something that should be left alone. It's a unique situation, like I said, because there's not many of it. It gives everybody an opportunity to not have to deal with Royal or Waste Management. And I don't foresee, if I was to get in, it's not going to close.
Just give me 1 second here. Well, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great, actually. What I've tried to do is really focus. It's a very diverse group, different offices, lots of different things. I really tried to pull out some of the questions that really are the quality of life issues that I think impact everyone here in Pleasant Valley, both the people here and people listening. Certainly, the fiscal responsibility of the town board, the supervisors, the town clerk's office, critically important, and go from there. Recreation. Let's it has come up in various ways in conversation about the need for additional recreational activities, particularly for our young people. Let me come back to the town board, because that's probably where initiatives would have to happen. Mary?
Sure.
You got it?
Parks and Rec. I think Pleasant Valley, for one, has a very good rec master plan that had been buried for a very long time. It is posted. I suggest everybody go read it. We really have to start somewhere, and I think we have started. The town board has started with Helen Aldrich Park, and we had to prioritize those projects that are within that rec master plan. And I think we are going to head in that direction, because that rec master plan really outlined so many things. It's so wonderful to read it. And I just think we're going to start prioritizing that for our kids in our town. My daughter is already well above going to recs and to the parks, but she grew up in this town, and there was not much for her. But I think going forward, we can prioritize these projects and get them moving along for our kids.
Thank you. Since you mentioned Helen Aldrich Park, I'll take this opportunity to thank all those individuals involved with the community garden. I don't know what the current tally is. It was over 1,000 pounds. Donated to the food pantry. 1,300 pounds. Yeah, that's what we should do as a community. Dan Deegan.
So on that note, everyone should see the impact that community gardens has made at the food bank. That table is full of fresh food every week. It wasn't like that before you did that, Gene, and your whole team. You should really be commended. It's amazing. So Parks and Rec. So I've lived here 18 years. The one thing that Pleasant Valley is really good at is organizing people against something. We have perfected that. A big reason why I'm running is to see, with a different voice and a different idea, if we can actually turn that energy into something positive. You see it at the town board meetings. When Spectrum shows up, we are a united front, and it's scary. That's a scary room for Spectrum. So we have it in us. I think the way you do that is we use the word "or" way too much in this town. kids or seniors. We gotta use the word and more. Throw out or and use and. You can do both. We all live here. And then when you worry about the kids and you worry about the seniors, who do we leave out? We leave out the teenagers. And then we wonder why they get in trouble, and then we get mad. Where are they supposed to go? We gotta get them off the devices. Where are they supposed to go? I can't tell you how many people I've met recently, and I had to break their heart. A lot of people have moved in here recently, and they're like, yeah, you see what's going on West Road? They donated that Rebel Park. It's like, yeah, it's a 30-year-old sign, bud. You gotta just get the ball rolling. So that's this is a complicated issue, but you start with, for the kids, you start with the playgrounds. I mean, there's beat up equipment that none of us are proud of. Come on, let's invest. These are our children, right? People invest in 401ks, they invest in those things. Why don't we invest in ourselves, in our own town? Yeah, you gotta spend a little money, but you'll get something out of it. Is it, when you have someone come to your house from out of town and you wanna go somewhere, where do you go? You go to the walkway over the Hudson, you go to other towns, you don't stay in Pleasant Valley. You should be able to. It could start at Rettle Park. So Rettle is something to be done. All the playgrounds to be upgraded. That's just the first step. But what this town needs to see is something happen. Quick victory within the first 30 to 90 days, something done where we can say, all right, people are working together and it's for all of us. Because we can all benefit from that. Whether you play sports, whether you like the arts, whether you like being outside, whether you want to fly a plane, there's the plane flying people. They should be included in this. Nature walks, bikes. Hello, that's what a community is. So that's what recreation is. It's for everybody. And
Jennifer Adams. You got one right in front of you.
You're passing it down, I was gonna take this. So, I did have a whole spiel, but at the end of the day, I am gonna piggyback right off of them. And as a mother of 5, 4 of my children are all grown, 3 of them out of the house. One of them is still in the house, but working on schooling. I have a 15-year-old. She has nowhere to go. She has nothing to do. Thankfully, she has school activities, but I work for probation for Dutchess County. I see so many kids coming in and out of there that are getting in trouble. And not to go back to past discussions, but we as parents have to get our kids out there and off the phones and off social media. That's where we come in. We need something for our children, the older children, not the young little ones. Yes, we need them too, but the teens need to be kept busy in our town. I can't even tell you how many times I've had kids ride down Main Street in front of my car. We need something for these children. We have beautiful fields. Why do we have Little League maintaining our fields though? But yet we're charging these travel teams to play there, but Little League is maintaining the fields. It's not fair. We have all these fields that need to be taken care of, and we're not getting it done. We need more programs for our seniors. I do say that we have had a lot of progress lately with our senior programs, and I give kudos to our recreation department for doing that. They have really come a long way, but we need to keep doing more. And like Mary and Dan said, I'm right behind them on this. We need to do more. We need to do for both, not one or the other. It needs to be for everybody.
Thank you. John Dunn?
That's my pen.
All right, I'll pick on one thing particularly, and I can't quite understand it. Yes, we need recreation. We are on, okay. Yes, we need recreation, but I see so many people now being helicopter parents that kids are no longer left to their own devices. And I think that kids can find things to do, worthwhile things. I know it's a problem with this town. I mean, we just sold Camp New Teaming, and the town of Pleasant Valley refused to even bid on it. And now, as Jen said, that now the travel teams have to pay a fee. The kids from Pleasant Valley have to pay a fee to go to Camp New Teaming to play. And that is wrong. I feel that, yes, there definitely should be money spent on recreation, but we are spending a lot of money on recreation. And it's a point where I think we really need to prioritize what's going on in this town, because basically what I'm seeing is gee, I don't know if we want to do this. Oh, I don't know if we want to do recreation. I don't know if we want to do water. And consequently, nothing gets done. Somebody has got to come up with an idea and get it done. And that's the problem we have.
Thank you. Very quick response from our two supervisor candidates. Ola? Very quick response.
I completely agree with Dan. We say we need. It's time to do. We have to move forward. If we have $1 million in recreation, I don't care, okay, I'm off by $10,000 or whatever. We still have that money for recreation. We have $100,000 put aside for playground. Are we gonna use that? We have $100,000 put aside for Riddle Park. 20 plus years, what has been done? It's time for action. If I make no change, if I'm elected, I'm out. I'll put myself out. We have $10,000 for vests in the budget. I wanna know a breakdown. I mean, as a business owner, I don't spend, especially taxpayers' dollars, frivolously. Let me see the breakdown of vests. Picnic tables, $15,000. It took months to put together. Why are we dragging our feet? Our children deserve better. We have all these beautiful playgrounds, and I say they're a safety hazard. And I know some town board members, they get offended. I get offended as well. I mean, it's my town as well. I want the best for the people and our children.
Thank you. Mary Albrecht?
Just quickly, what vests are we talking about?
Vests for constables that are in the.
Okay, so on average, our town sees 122 cases every Tuesday night with all of the constables present.
Okay.
Okay, so these vests are an absolute necessity. They should have been ordered years ago. And we finally got them, and they're protected from not only several different types of guns, bullets, whatever, I don't understand all that, but it's also protection for knives in their side. They're very, very well-made vests, and they were a huge necessity. Parks and recreation. Right now, we have committed 50% at least of the ARPA money to go towards recreation for new.
Mary, excuse me one second. Could you define ARPA money? I'm sure there are lots of folks who don't know.
Oh, the American, rescue plan. So we got that money during COVID, okay? And we have already committed at least 50% of that towards the playgrounds. We have a new swing set that will be going at Bauer Field. We have a complete new setup for Katie Field. We have and a basketball court in the works for Katie Field also. And we have a new playground or equipment that will go up to Helen Aldridge. So those things are in the works, but as everybody else, I'm not sure you understand, because when you sit there, you want things done, you want them done, I don't blame you. And it wasn't until I got on the board that I understood why Congress took so long. Okay, I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. So, and Little League is a private entity. They use the fields, they take care of it so that just the infields, they don't mow it or anything like that. They use it for all of their games. They don't get charged for using those fields. They instead take care of the infield. We order all the supplies for it though. All of the dirt and everything else we take care of. So as far as Camp No Teaming, you do not purchase a $3 million facility when you have to take care of what is already broken in your town, okay? We have 2.5 maintenance people, and I say it like that because 2 of them are full-time, 1 of them is part-time, okay? There isn't any chance that they would be able to take care of a place like Camp New Team with 200 and some acres of land. So, no, it was not the right thing for our town to purchase that camp. Am I upset that we're not being able to utilize it the way we should? Yes, and that is something that I will set up an appointment with right away to find just that out.
Thank you. So I'm looking at the time, we're coming up on 6:40. The stop time is 7 p.m. I can tell you right now that we're probably going to go a couple of minutes beyond that, which I try to be very precise with these things. Please be giving thoughts to your 1 minute closing. And when you do your 1 minute closing, we're actually going to start with number 16 and work our way back, but we're not quite there yet. There's one major item on here that maybe it's in the town master plan and I'm not aware of it, that I didn't see addressed with all the talk about wind and solar. What are the town's plans as far as regulating folks who come in for wind or solar projects? Let me start with our two supervisor candidates. Mary Albrecht?
Well, they already have a zoning law put in place.
Yes.
That actually John Dunn would probably be able to answer because of being on the zoning committee. I don't know the full law. I just know that there are a lot of stipulations to being able to have solar at this time.
That's why I tried to phrase the question. I suspected it was already in there. And, well, John Dunn, let me have you speak to that very briefly, please, and then I would just like a quick response from the supervisor candidates if they feel it's appropriate.
Well, there is still pretty much a moratorium on ground-based solar. Okay, how about there's pretty much of a moratorium on ground-based solar. Anyone who wants to have solar on their home, that's another story. But as far as these ground-based systems, and I'm sure you've seen some of them, they're hideous looking, and they certainly detract from the town. And very frankly, folks, I'm sorry, but they're not all that efficient.
Okay. Did you want to address anything about that, your thoughts about it, or just? I'll tell you what, let's, go ahead, Dan.
I only want to jump in there because I was in the solar industry for 10 years. One, for starters, I sold solar in Pleasant Valley. Pleasant Valley was one of the easiest towns to get solar installed in. So credit, like the zoning, I don't know how that all worked, but it was really good. Ground mounts was tough, but roof was easy. It was a lot of these towns, and frankly, a lot of these pro solar towns are a disaster. So credit to Pleasant Valley. On terms of like these community solar programs, I was in those meetings just as a spectator. So you have these developers coming in, but there's a larger theme here that I don't like that I see in Pleasant Valley. We're this pass-through town where people take from us and we don't get anything in return. So the neighbors that came to that community solar array, they were the nicest. So I used to have to sell those. I used to sit in meetings and do that and deal with the people. They were the most polite, nicest people ever, and they didn't get anything. When these people come in, the developers absolutely can cut them a deal. If you are on the border of a community solar array, you should be getting a better deal than anybody else in the town. And I don't think they got that. I told him, he was open to it, and then it just kind of went. But that community solar array is kind of tucked in. I don't know the details of it. I don't know where it's at, but the neighbors they have the ability to take care of that. On top of that, it was brought up in a town board meeting one time, the site on Main Street, the Transco, Con Ed, National Grid, and Central Hudson site, they've never been reassessed. They're making millions and millions of dollars off of Pleasant Valley, and they send their employee there, their CEO's on a yacht somewhere. That person comes in and gets beat up by all the residents because we're united in that issue, and we've never reassessed them to see what Pleasant Valley gets. Pleasant Valley never gets anything. And we have to stop that. We have to look at all these deals, all these things that have gone and say, okay, if you want to do a solar array in here, first thing we're going to do is make sure it's legit. And second, we're going to make sure we take care of all the people that are around the property. And as far as solar not being efficient, solar there's a lot of different alternatives, and solar is definitely one that works.
Okay, we'll do it. We are now at 6:43. We're going to start with number 16, and I want to really, really urge you to hold to a 60-second close. I realize how difficult this is. It's really difficult with the diversity of candidates for different offices to go down and try to give some equality of time to express yourselves. Will Truitt.
So I didn't run for political office 8 years ago because I love politicians. In fact, I despise politicians. I despise career politicians. And that's why the first bill that I brought forth as a main sponsor when I got in my first term in the county legislature back in 2016 was for term limits for all county-wide elected officials and county legislators. And what do you know, politicians don't like term limits, so it failed, 3-22. I brought it back the next term, it passed unanimously. So we now have 12-year term limits on all county elected officials, our executive and our members of the county legislature. I'm going on year 10, the most I'll do is one more term. My private background is I'm a CFO of a construction company. I graduated from Marist College with my finance degree. I'm going back for my master's degree right now in financial management. I think it's very important that we have business-minded and financial-minded individuals representing us in the county legislature. So I will continue to be that mindset and that brain there to make sure that we are efficient and good with our tax dollars, to make sure we can continue to cut taxes for Dutchess County residents and provide the best services. Thank you all, and God bless you. Have a wonderful night.
Ryan Travelpiece.
All right, thank you all for coming out this evening. It was great to share this time with you and tell you what we're looking to accomplish and how we can serve you. So, as we said, the legislative position is budgeting and appropriations. You need to have the financial background in order to do that. You want to hit the ground running on day one. I have that. I can deliver that for you. This is a $590 million budget, okay? So we're not talking small potatoes here. You really got to get in there and make sure you understand where every dollar is going. I've done that before. I could do it for you. So the other part of that is being able to listen to the people, right? You have to know what the needs are. You have to be able to work with people. I do that well. I do it on a daily basis. So as your elected official, again, I offer bipartisanship, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 14, Mary Beth Muir. And while you're doing that, Mary Beth, please see that the other microphone goes down to Ola. We're going to keep this moving right along.
Thank you. So on the night of September 7, 2023 at 8:30 at night, I received a call from the fire chief, Mike Cosenza, in regards to a microburst that went through the town of Pleasant Valley. It displaced 3 families. He asked me to open up town hall for the displaced residents. When I came down to the town hall, I was met by Councilman Mazzella and Councilwoman Albrecht. Together, we worked together with the fire department as they were bringing in their residents and their pets into the town hall. Pillows and blankets were gathered, cots were brought in from the fire department, and a makeshift disaster area was set up. Our local pizzeria, Madison's, was called in at 11 o'clock at night. Not only did Jake Higgins bring food to the families of the town hall, but he also provided food for all the first responders. Supervisor Delvecchio joined us and spent the night in the town hall. Why am I telling you this story? There is a saying, a successful team beats with one heart, coming together, sharing together, working together, and succeeding together. Teamwork provides the task and doubles the success. That night showed it wasn't about political parties or any negativity. It was about coming together, having a common goal, sharing the same vision, and being part of the team. We rise above all the negativity because this community deserves so much more. Alone we could do a little, but together we can do it. Alone we could do so little, but together we can do so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Well, I love everything she said. This campaign has not been easy. I'm not a politician. I was born to serve, and I love helping my community and helping others. I created companies to make a difference. And so whether I win or lose this November, I won't give up. And if I do win, I promise you that I will not give up with transparency and working with heart and working with fiscal responsibility. I appreciate your time. God bless.
Thank you. John Dunn.
Yeah, hi, first of all, well, hello. I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. And just to give you a little more background, which I haven't touched on, I've been 35 years in the investment business. I'm at the age now where everybody says, why aren't you retired? Because I've got people that have been with me for all those years and won't leave. So I stay handling 50 or 60 clients. Tonight, we've heard a lot of things about what should be, I'll say two things. First of all, the people, some of the people that are running for office have been in office for this period of time, and if they should be done, why haven't they been done? And secondly, very frankly, probably I did not tell you necessarily what you wanted to hear tonight, but I told you what you needed to hear. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Kayla Roth.
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys all for coming out to listen to what everybody has to say. Obviously, if I do get elected come November, starting in January, our goal is to all work together and to help each other out as for the community. Obviously, as what Mary Beth said before, I love the story about what she said about the town hall. As a prior volunteer firefighter myself in the Arlington Fire District, your goal is to work with everybody, whether it's, you know, the whole community, everything like that. Mutually, you come together and you do the job that you have to do. So, you know, if we all get in, our goal is to work with you guys, help out with rec, everything, get communities together for the young kids. As I said, I have a little one at home, so want to have another one, obviously. So goal is to obviously stay in Pleasant Valley and make the community better and stronger for everybody. Thank you
Very much. Dan Deacon.
So bravo to everybody, including you, Mr. Sipos, everybody in this audience, all the candidates, everybody. This is way better than 2 years ago when only one group plus Mrs. Campbell who had the guts to show up. That was pure silliness. This is awesome. This is what democracy is. This is how it's supposed to work. We should send a memo to Washington. You can actually have a civil conversation, not tear each other apart, talk about ideas. This is what we need. This is why I ran. This is an experiment. So when I ran a couple years ago, I wanted to test something. I got some bad advice and I kind of stuck to one side. This year I'm doing it on my own, and I wanted to talk to everybody. And I can tell you, it has been unbelievable. Not just kids have to get off social media, adults have to get off of it. I haven't been thrown off of a single doorstep, not one. Not one bad conversation. I'm talking to everybody you can imagine. We have it in us. If we want to make this town better and we want to change it, we got to vote for change. So I need your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Albrecht. Hand the microphone down, please.
Ready? Dan is correct. Democracy is what we are. This team, I am running with individuals ready to roll up their sleeves and get the work done. We are from different parties, almost all of us, with different views, yet we all have the same thing in common. We want things done. We don't want our hands tied anymore. Our team, along with Michael Reifenberg, are going to build on the firm foundations we have established these past 2 years. We bring proven experience, efficiency, and economy. We will set goals, we will deliver results. I have the business sense and the ability to manage. It's the friends we make along this journey who make it all worthwhile. It's the people who want to help and have the knowledge to do so. It's the woman in IT, the man who knows budgets, the retired who are willing to use their knowledge to help us move forward as a town. Our team motto is, when you think you can, you will succeed. I remind myself each day of how wonderful our little town is and how much I have loved being here for the majority of my life. Pleasant Valley is a special place with so many great people. All I ask is that people be kind to one another, whether in person or typing on social media. We are all here in life for a short time, so we must make the most of it. Thank you for your time this evening, and it would be an honor to have your vote.
Thank you.
You got it?
I got it. And then bring that microphone over to
Jen?
Brian. Oops, wait a minute.
Sorry.
Thanks, Tom.
Me?
We're going for
All right. I want to assure you that I will continue working for our communities and those beyond our towns who also need services from the county. And I want to tell you a really quick story illustrating my recent experiences in the legislature. Did you know that this December, after all public hearings on the county budget were closed, thus ending the public's ability to participate and make comment as required by law, The Republican legislative majority unanimously added and approved $25 million in luxury improvements to Duchess Stadium. This was not even hinted in the publicly released budget. And this violated all rules of good government conduct. It subverted the will of Duchess residents who had previously vehemently opposed the expenditure. We're talking $25 million. So I want to assure you that I will continue asking the hard questions and demand that all aspects of county government are transparent in their requests for funding, and I will keep the flow of information coming to the public.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Aldrich, supervisor, or town supervisor, highway supervisor.
Okay.
Just elevate you later.
As I said earlier, I've got 30 years' experience in this field. My first 6 were with New York State DOT, currently the last 25 plus with the town of LaGrange. But that doesn't mean I have all the answers. If I'm presented with a problem or a question that I don't immediately know, I'm going to reach out to those who I do know that can help me out. And even after I get an answer to that question, I'm going to follow up and get a second opinion as well. You come to me, you ask for an answer to your question, like I said, I'm going to give you the best answer that I possibly can. It may not be the answer that you want to hear, but it'll be an honest and truthful answer, and it'll be done in a reasonable and a timely fashion. Thank you all for coming. I hope to have your support in November.
Thank you. Frank Mazzella.
So, my name's Frank Mazzella again. I'm running for County Legislator District 2. Just to briefly go over my past tenure here, the past 3.5 years on the town board, we cut taxes going into the 2023 budget, and we plan to actually do it again. I was the one who finally fought to get the rec master plan that we've talked about, that we paid $50,000 for back in 2011, finally moving in this town to spend some money on one of our parks for some infrastructure. I will be your voice. I will continue to fight for the resident. I can guarantee you one thing: I would never vote to spend $25 million on some locker rooms.
Thank you. Let's see, next should be John Baxter.
Oh, here, sorry. You guys look so funny.
And Dave, after that's going to be Dean Michael, so you want them all, as long as you're passing by.
So like I said, John Baxter, Highway Superintendent. In my little over 3 years as Highway Superintendent, I don't think people really realize that this job is literally a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week job. We get calls all hours of the days and nights, and my guys jump when I call them, and it's great. And I've really loved doing this job. I've been around the construction field for around 30 years. I know I've only been a highway superintendent for 3. I worked for the town of Pleasant Valley 3 years before that, because I was asked to run for highway superintendent the original time around, and I wanted to see what it was like to actually be a highway superintendent before I came one. I'm proud I did. I'm proud I served you for the last 3 years. And just on a side note, I sit on the Dutchess County Highway Superintendents Association on the executive board, and thankfully this past year, with a lot of advocacy in Albany this year, we were able to get almost another $200 million invested back into our highway budgets for statewide. So we put a lot of work into that, which is great. I will continue to do that work. I'll continue to be here 24/7. Everybody knows where my office is, and I hope for your support November 7th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dean Michael.
Again, thank you all for coming out. I always consider myself a hands-on person. And so during my 16 years on the town board, I didn't just do what a town board member would do. In fact, 3 years ago during COVID, many towns were struggling with sick employees, and we had a shortage in town. So what did I do? I didn't get paid for it. I just went down to the highway department and says, how can I help? I ended up jumping in the truck and started plowing. 2 years before that, I also did the same thing during a major snowstorm that we had, and I'm just basically saying that I'll do whatever it takes. I'll roll up my sleeves and I'll do what we need to better the town here, the town of Clinton, and Rhinebeck, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Meyer.
Hi. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate all the great questions that were asked of us. I'm very proud to be part of Team Pleasant Valley and look forward to delivering results in this community with your vote on November 7th. It's time for all of us to move our town forward.
Thank you. Deidre Houston, County Legislator.
Thanks. So just want to say, clearly this town is engaged tonight. I mean, it's amazing to see so many people come out and give 2 hours to listen to candidates talk. So thank you all for coming out. A little bit more about myself. I also serve as the Assistant Majority Leader for my caucus. And I serve on the Cornell Cooperative Extension as a liaison to the county, which is very important as it comes to 4-H programming and farmland protection. It's a very important part of the process of the county budget. I also serve as the liaison to Dutchess Community College, which, as you probably do know, is a major part of the county budget. As a small business owner, I really do understand the impact of community and economics on each individual here. Thank you all for coming out. I really want to say, as Mr. Sipos said, advocacy is such an important part of legislative job. And you can ask any of the town board candidates or any of the town board members or the supervisor. I have worked very closely with your town board and your supervisor to get projects brought forward and advocate for Pleasant Valley. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but I can promise you I have so enjoyed serving Pleasant Valley, and I really look forward to continuing to serve you. And so please come out and vote for me. I would really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Jennifer Adams.
Okay, real quick. So I had to rewrite my little closing statement because it was on a blue folder and I can't see it. Real quick, I'm not bought, I'm not owned, I'm not a professional politician, nor do I ever want to be, nor do I plan to be. I've been the target of many attacks. The last thing our town needs is more hate. We've had enough. Honestly, our town, being as small as it is, shouldn't even have political parties, and I don't believe in them. With that, I'm here for the people. I know 75% of this room. Regardless of who you are, I'm here for you. I will do everything in my power to make things move. And please know that every single one of you have a voice. And please don't look at my husband's shoes. And have a great night.
Thank you very much, everyone here.